Good evening and welcome back to another edition of Beyond the Backstage Pass. I am your host, Vince Edwards. You may know me from a couple closed roadie groups we have on Facebook, one called Death by Loadout, another one called The Backstage Pass. With me this evening is my dear, good friend and co-host, Kyle Thomas. Kyle Thomas, how are you this evening?
I'm doing great, Bubba. It's good to see you, Vince.
It is a pleasure. It has been a minute. We've been away for, God, 2 months? I honestly don't know. It's been longer than I would have liked.
I think 3.5 now.
Is it that long? Time
is
and me don't have a relationship. It just kind of goes by, and I inhabit the space as it happens, and I'm cool with it. But this was something we had done every Thursday for 2 years. You know, we whipped out 129 shows, something like that. I don't know what the number is. It's crazy.
It's up there, yeah.
It was quite a thing, and that was a lot of fun. And I had rolled into a habit with it, and you know, and whatever the workload was or whatever, we always found time to write the show and get over here and run over here right at the last minute and set our butts down and do this. So I've missed it. I'm really glad to see you. Thank you for coming back and doing this. We've missed you guys. So we got a special show for you this evening. Hang on, we got a great guest. I'm going to catch up with our good friend Kyle for a second. What's new in your life, young man?
Man, a lot has rotated in the past couple of months, but off to different pastures with a different company. Started with Claire, and still trying to do some work with Sound Image. I love me some Dave Shadone and Ralph. I love you and your brother very much, so I'm looking forward to things in the future maybe, but for the time being, just went off and kind of exploring other options.
I am so happy to hear that you're doing well. They are working with, one hell of a company. They've got a great thing going on over there. Can't help but admit that. And yeah, shout out to Dave Shadone, the big man here at Sound Image. We appreciate it. Thanks for letting us have the space to do this thing. And of course, my brother George Edwards, which is our general manager and my boss. And he also the same lets me mess around with gear and do this little thing. So appreciate you guys. We've missed you. We're glad that you landed on your feet and that things are going well. I know you can't exactly explain where you're going straight away, but you're going overseas, I imagine.
Yeah, there's a couple things lined up. We'll see where I land. To give a shout out to Leon Hopkins and Mike Adams for really putting me on a track. So we'll see where it goes.
Mike Adams is a legend. Yeah,
such a nice dude. Just loaded with knowledge.
Yeah, he's a surprising cat, and literally in this game, he's like, that's my guy. So right on, man. I'm glad that that's going on with you. What else is new? I know you've been doing some stuff around town.
Yeah, so cool one with Bernie. I wish he was out today, but
Bernie Broderick?
We just missed him, yeah.
Bernie Broderick got detained. He was going to be on the show.
He was.
There was a chair for him and everything over there and a microphone all set up, but he got detained. And so we will spend time with him later. He's got some cool new inventions. I mean, he's the smartest guy I friggin' know.
Seriously,
I know some crazy smart people,
walking
too.
Encyclopedia.
And he's just like nuts. But he's got some new inventions, and he's going to come and share when they're ready to pop out and be alive for the world, and you guys can know about them. Hold on tight, like this is some change the game shit, and it's some stuff that only Bernie Broderick could do. So
yeah. So in the meantime, just finishing up projects with him, with Rick Allen, drummer of Def Leppard, just finishing some studio install work, a couple of panels he's designed, switching over some of the stuff to network jacks and things like that.
All right, so as an advocate and a dear friend of Rick Allen's, I'm going to be having lunch with him on probably Wednesday night of this coming week when he gets done with Hollywood, Florida thing he's doing.
Nice, yeah.
And I'm going to ask a question for Rick Allen that he would want me to ask. When are you guys going to be done?
When? Oh, man. I think
he's been chomping at the bit.
So the nice part was the other day, I think last week I drove down there, kind of got his drum set all patched in, so when he comes back, it'll be all good. But yeah, it's all terminated nice to, basically it's XLR in and then cat cables that'll go over to a patch panel. There's some fiber lines, so if you want to, set up a remote control room in a different room and actually use it as a tracking room, it has some options.
Very cool. Now this will make him smile big and wide. Like that's a really involved, detailed project that's taken quite a bit of time, and between a couple different providers, and there's been some frustrating moments with that. But it is, from what I understand and what he reports, that he's chomping at the bit just to have it come all the way to life and start doing what he does. With him and Lauren, his lovely wife. She's an accomplished musician in her own right with her own band, and yeah, they'd love to see that wrap up.
Bern's the guy that has designed everything. Just doing the install part, just seeing what he's developed is pretty incredible. Just for the size of the facilities and everything, it's like, God damn, man, it's all impressive stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, and what he's really good at. So he understands all the technological parts of it, which is harder than it's ever been. You know, with the cable and the data and the glass and all the stuff that it takes to make a high-end rig like that work. But he's got an aesthetic sensibility. It's what do you call it? It's the industrial design component. It's like his speakers. When you look at his design speakers, the way that all the things he takes into consideration is, it's something where it burns super in his head, and then he can translate it into a thing and bring the right parts and materials and technologies together.
And I think he said it good today. It was like, if you come from the side of the user and like how you're actually operating the thing instead of just developing it and building it, that's the part that like really makes all of his projects really cohesive.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. There's sometimes that's lost in industrial design is the end user, and you know how intuitive it is, how friendly it is, how accessible. So much in our industry is it seems like it's almost designed to be prohibitive by excessiveness, you know, like the old school big boards, all those knobs, all those faders. If you didn't have an understanding of what it really was doing and how to read that board, it just looks like a big patch of craziness. And we kind of like that. We want the world to not understand what we're doing. But it's, you know, the more intuitive that a design is made, the more accessible it's made, the more, in my mind, the more successful it can be. And he's got some great designs. He's extraordinary. Those little Blu-ray speakers that he made for us are,
Bluetooth ones?
Bluetooth speaker. I love my little Bluetooth speaker.
So he's got the air motion transformer on the top. That's just like the added little bell to it.
It's great, man. There's air motion transformers. It's so Bernie. You know, he's going to go into some technology that was seldom used and bring out the best of it, and it just makes it so his own lane. There's no other speaker on the planet that has the same configuration of technology to get that certain outcome. And I remember when he was testing that thing, he was out on that thing with the smart systems for like 3 in the morning, day after day, just sending every conceivable type of music, types of signals through it to see what the breaking points were, to see how to tune it, to see how to dial it. And
yeah, you have to.
Yeah, and you know, he's meticulous that way. Enough about Bernie. We have some wonderful special guests in the audience this evening. Help me. We got Brian, which is our dear good friend of our guest this evening, Clayton Q, and the lovely Steve Orgain and his amazing wife.
Steve's
one of
here.
the
Hey.
Yeah, sis.
When did you guys get here? What the fuck? Hi.
I'm telling him stuff he didn't even know. And the wonderful and amazing AJ Fardella and his extraordinary wife, who's AJ, I would love to go back and watch his show. Amazing cat, done amazing things. Journey comes to mind in the house. So we welcome them and thank you for being here. We'll try not to be too boring. Well, my brother, I didn't even look when we started this thing, so I don't know how long we've been doing this. I'm going to go run. I've got an amazing, wonderful guest for us this evening.
You got another gold nugget.
Dude, I get lucky sometimes. I can't explain it. It just happens, and I'm cool with it. Let's just roll into the punches. All right, thank you, brother. Thank you for being here. Help me out with this thing if you see me stumbling anywhere during the interview.
I will.
Just
you see his
right
chair
in.
start going back and forth.
Pounce.
Just say something.
I got the wrong chair, is what he's saying. Okay, my chick stole my chair, fair and square. It was her chair the whole time. But it's like this 116-year-old antique, cool-ass, claw-handled chair, and it was designed to stop me from moving around because it's fixed, and we're just going to have to make the best with it. All right. This evening, you guys, we're lucky enough. A dear friend has come up from the South. It's the great Clayton Q. His music career is started back in the high school days. He's played everywhere from local pubs to the big shows. He's hung out with Hunter Hayes and the guys from Def Leppard. He's done shows right here with us with Billy Idol. He's an incredible recording artist, incredible talent, wonderful sound, and he's here with us to share his experiences and what he's doing in California. Clayton Q.
Hi, Benny. Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely a treat to have you on, my brother.
It's a treat to be here.
Yeah. First of all, what brings you to California?
Hey, you know, I came out here to visit my friends. I've got a lot of friends on this side of the continent, you know. So
yeah.
I decided to come up here and see you guys and see some friends down in LA and here for some Oscars events. I got some friends participating in that, and so I said, hey, Benny, what's up, man?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I've been wanting to get you in here for 100 shows or more, and you've always been busy. Our schedules weren't able to cross, but finally we were able to put it together, and you brought us back out. We're debuting back with you, so thank you for doing that with us.
Thank you.
It's an absolute treat. As I mentioned, you're a country artist. You make some beautiful music.
Thank you.
I've heard you play live. I've listened to your recorded material multiple times.
Oh, man, awesome.
It's absolutely a treat. It's right in there with, I don't know, it's kind of got for me at least, kind of a hint of a Chris Isaac twinge with it. You know, I'm a rock guy, so.
Dude, that's a huge compliment.
I find my way to it in a certain way, and there's, man, it's real pretty what you do, brother. How did you get into the industry? How did you know that Clayton Q needed to play music?
Well, you know, when I was yay high, that's what we say in the South, yay high.
Knee high to a June bug.
My family would get together at my grandma's house. She had a small 3-room house about as big as this desk and this carpet right here. And every holiday or no reason at all, a couple times a month, my family would gather around my grandma. My grandfather on my father's side passed away right before I was born. So my father's mother was a widow. And we would go there, and family members would play guitars and dulcimers and banjos, and I grew up listening to old hymns and country music, you know, Tom T. Hall and Hank Sr. and I thought that was
that's Western music.
I thought that was the only music that was around. You know, my parents, they listened to they called the oldies but the goodies, the 60s and the 70s and the Buddy Hollies and the Temptations and stuff, you know. And so I grew up listening to that, and but on the radio, but growing up around the country music side, the live acoustic instruments at my grandma's house, I thought everyone's family did that. Yeah. I went to school and I'm like, on Sunday, you know, my family brings me to my grandma's house and we play music. What do you do? And be like, I ride my bike down the street, man. What are you talking about? I'm like, you guys don't play music? And I'm like, what's that?
Yeah.
You know, so I grew up around it.
What a blessing.
Yeah, man, that's such a huge blessing that I see now. When you're younger, you don't understand. But when I grew up, I loved it, enjoyed being around my family. My parents, I'm an only child.
So they spoiled you a bit.
They did with love, spoiled with love very much.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
Good. No, I can't imagine. Same in my house. There was always music playing. There wasn't as much physical playing instrumentation, but man, my mom had such a love and respect for us. You heard some of the 70s kind of singer-songwriter stuff we were playing in the house music tonight. And it's a little, it sounds like the answer to the question is nature and nurture.
That's right.
A little bit probably in your DNA, and a little bit from mom and dad in the way
Most definitely.
Yeah, no, what a blessing. I noticed recently you played the Grand Ole Opry. What is it like walking on those boards?
Well, I didn't play the Grand Ole Opry, I would tell you that, but a great friend of mine got inducted to the Opry, Carlos D. Ford Bailey, and his grandfather was the first African-American on the original Opry at the Ryman.
Wow.
And Carlos has been for the past couple decades coming up in the ranks like his grandfather, and me and Carlos connected about a decade ago, and I asked him to perform harmonica, like his grandfather did, on one of my songs that I co-wrote with Billy Ray Cyrus.
Oh, sure.
Called Kentucky, releasing later this year.
Yeah.
And so Carlos remembered that, and when he was getting inducted to the Opry, he said, Clayton, I would be so honored if you would be my guest of honor and come with me to the Opry.
Oh.
So he took me out there, and I got to walk on stage with him. And so that I did get to go to the Opry. And also at the 2022 Josie Music Awards, I was nominated with my band, Clayton Q Band, Country Group of the Year.
Yes, sir.
And I've won a couple awards there with them with the Josie
twice,
before.
Right?
Twice,
yeah.
Yeah, Country Artist of the Year one year, and Modern and Traditional Country Artist the next year. But, you know, it's a team effort. I would say, I got to do that, but my entire team is what takes place. And so I wish I could just say, hey, Clayton Q Team of the Year, would be like my entire band, everyone that's on my team involved in that. But yeah, so it was a great experience, and hopefully one day I get to walk out on stage and play one of my songs at the Opry.
Oh, man,
I'd be so humbled to be able to do that. But I was very humbled and honored just to be there walking on that stage as well.
Oh, man, the footsteps that you trounced across. Yeah, no, what a historic, amazing place. And I bet you one day you will be up there making good music in that.
Oh, most definitely.
Amazing venue, one of the coolest on the planet. So you have a nice place that you often are busy found working up in the mountains in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Is that correct? And is it called Music Mountain?
Music Mountain.
Don't you have a little lake or a little pond, or you got like a whole thing going on? You gotta tell us about Music Mountain.
It's part of the Tennessee River.
Yeah.
And it's up on a mountain in West Tennessee. And there's no geographical location. I've never tagged the location, so sorry, y'all can't show up there. Did that on purpose.
Smart.
But I actually named it Music Mountain. Music's such a big part of my life.
Yeah.
And during COVID, the world was shut down. I was living in the city. I said, hey, I want to move further out. I found a great deal on some property out there, and I've always wanted a log cabin up on top of a mountain.
Yeah.
But, I didn't have millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something. So I went out and found this piece of land, and I was just walked out and pulled off the side of the road after looking at another place. And I saw a for sale sign laying down the side of this hill. And so I went down there and I called the number. It was kind of faded.
Yeah.
The guy said, hey, man, I put that sign out there like 3 years ago. You're the first person to ever call. I said, well, maybe the neighbors didn't want it sold because the sign was laying down the side of the hill.
Yeah.
And so I met the gentleman at his house down the street and about a half a mile down the road there. And so I bought the property from him and I developed it and looked up on YouTube how to run a Mini X and a skid steer.
No, I've seen you do the whole deal.
You seen it? You followed it?
Yeah, yeah.
And a good buddy of mine, Jason Travis from Columbia, Tennessee, he had experience in that, and he come to help me develop the property. And I poured 33C gravel and built a retaining wall out of railroad ties and
cool.
got a storage container and put it in the hillside and made it part of my foundation. And then I employed a Scenic View Woodworking, an Amish outfit out of Oak Grove, Kentucky. I designed the entire cabin on graph paper. There's not one digital imprint of this cabin.
No shit.
It's built solid.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, and it's
Ours
more
rock.
like a tiny home cabin, but I love it. I put it there on top of the hill,
Yeah.
and now I have my cabin on a hilltop. And I decided, music is such a big part of my life, and I'm finally up on top of a mountain. I'm going to call it Music Mountain.
You did good.
Thank you.
I see all the
You're
hard work.
invited. You're welcome anytime.
That's very kind. When I'm in that neck of the woods, I am going
Come
to look
on.
you up. Then we're going to go find some good barbecue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you will. Some real good barbecue.
Yeah, your neck of the woods does well on the burnt
Place that I'm
meats.
hung on in Nashville lately is Edley's Barbecue.
Yeah, great. It's a good stuff.
Oh,
I don't
dude,
think I made
it's
it
so
by
good.
Edley's.
So
No, 'cause
good.
I've had good barbecue in
Yeah.
Nashville. Shit, over there, pretty much the whole state, really. You got the barbecue
Yeah.
down. Yeah. You're one of the good barbecue states for sure.
Oh, yeah,
Put it
thanks.
mildly.
From my Facebook post, I post all the top food everywhere.
Yeah. It's a service. Yeah, and I noticed that you got some adventure in your game. You'll try new things when it comes to the food.
I will.
Yeah. No, there's a lot to be
Like
said for
Fear Factor
Yeah.
on my plate. I'll try it.
I've never been very adventurous when it came to food, But I got mad respect for my chick. Super tries everything. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
Vince thinks the peppermint patty's spicy, so.
Yeah, that's what the hell they doing with all that. They don't need that much mint in that peppermint patty. The hell. But he's not wrong. I'm super white bread. I was raised with like Kraft macaroni and cheese and Velveeta and shit and Hamburger Helper.
And that explains that super bright orange mac and cheese from earlier. Right?
That was some crazy shit. We had some macaroni and cheese earlier that was an unnatural color. It was like macaroni and cheese like this.
Had like a built-in
And it
elephant
just was,
peanut.
it was
falls in
suspect
it.
Weird.
from the gate. When we popped the lid, we were like, nope, that's suspect. That is not a food color. No.
It was good.
I think
Thank
we
you.
erred on the side of caution on that one.
Yeah.
He says thank you hesitantly.
He's very polite.
Like,
He
gee,
said the
Vince,
effort.
this
He
is what you really think of me?
He was recognizing the effort, but it was like,
No expense
swing and
spared
miss,
for Clayton Q.
It's a full swing and miss. Hey, you were too kind to me with that because whenever a guest comes in, I'll say, well, what do you want to drink and eat on the set?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty open to it. You did suggest Steve Orgain.
I
He's a
did.
little rich for my blood, but I love me some Steve Orgain. I wish I could have had him come in. He would have made this like crazy good.
Well, I met Steve when I was here, and we did the Big Love benefit. I was
Killed it.
honored to have Rick Allen play drums for me on my song Drive on that
Yeah,
one.
you had Bentmont Trench playing for you too.
Yeah.
Dude, Bentmont Trench, like
Yeah.
that little band you had that night was crazy good.
Oh, dude, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And so I met Steve here, and he catered, And then Steve actually followed my page, and I had an online charity auction with one of my personal guitars, and Steve was the very first person to buy any one of my personal guitars on the auction.
You, man.
He is a sweet guy,
Yeah.
man. He really, and he's really great at what he does for professional catering. I mean, I've never had a bad nibble from this man, and he's so attentive and so on top of what he does. He is really, truly one of the best, and he's a sponsor of the show, and we love the guy. So it's good to have you here tonight, Steve, and thank you for all the stuff. But yes, I did buy you some half-ass chicken and some, because you made it. You're like, I'll eat anything. Just whatever, man.
Just digging
He put
himself
it to the
hole.
test.
Good.
Dude,
I'm
He
like,
really
cool.
put it to my Fear
Pull up my
Factor
beer.
test.
Watch this.
Put it to
There's
the
a
Fear
church
Factor
of chicken
test.
right up the street, man.
No, I went
He's
to
trying
the
to
gas
make me
station
feel at
chicken
home.
place because it blows my mind, because it's actually pretty good for gas station chicken.
Yeah, I mean, we have it in Nashville.
I like it better than the Kentucky
Yeah.
Fried and them kids. I don't know why. I just
Yeah,
really get a little more
that's all
something
right,
to it. Anyways, thanks
The
for playing
saltier
along.
the better, hey?
Yeah. You're a man after my own heart. How did you were down in L.A. You just mentioned. How did your visit go in L.A. so far?
So far, it's been great. Have some great friends over at West Coast Customs.
Yes.
Went and hung out with them yesterday at the shop in Burbank and talked about some future plans and stuff. And hopefully there's some stuff in the works there. So,
That'd be cool.
you know.
Yeah.
But big shout out to my boy Alex Sinclair, custom car audio guy
Yeah.
at West Coast. He's the whole reason that I was there. And he's been out to my neck of the woods. I had him come out for my Fast and Furious festival I hosted in my hometown.
Right.
You know, and stuff. And yeah, it was good hanging out in Burbank last night.
Yeah, that's an exciting area. I'm glad. Yeah, West Coast, they do some amazing car projects.
Cool,
And
really cool dude. Really
Yeah.
cool dude. So.
Yeah, super good. Yeah, I gotta ask you about the you know, I've noticed that you have a thing that I got mad respect for, because there's many ways to do this in the rock and roll game, and I've seen everybody from Tony Bennett to, you know, Kiss handle how they deal with their fans, the relationship with the fans, the artist and the fan. And I've always admired the country, what seems to be a more general thing that happens in the country world, where there's a much more of a hands-on take with the fans, where the fan can actually hang with the artist on some level, that there's a back and forth there.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Am I imagining this, or, you know?
No, absolutely. You know, my take is that I'm not above anyone. And if it were not for the person that was standing right next to me that says, oh my gosh, I'm standing by Clayton, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm standing by Steve Orgain, oh my gosh, I'm standing by Vinny Edwards. I'm like, you like my music, really?
Yeah.
Dude, thank you. Let's be friends. If someone likes me, I want to be their friend.
Yeah.
And I feel like the more of that I have in support and raising other people up, the more I'll be elevated. And if we just elevate together.
Yeah.
And then it's just not like Clayton Q and like 100 fans. It's like Clayton Q and a bunch of other people that matter, and they're all here together.
Oh, it seems like in your videos, and it seems like it's Clayton Q and friends.
Exactly.
You know, and so that really comes through, and it's admirable. You know, I've seen
Appreciate that.
Neil Peart used to feel, and in some ways, you know, his deal was, I wrote the music, and I'm one of the best, if not the best drummer in the world. I'm not hanging out with the fans. And he was militant about it. He was really, but Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, the other two members, would spend an hour a night with the fans. And it was just, I always found that there's this dichotomy, you know, between that approach. And being famous can be hard. And so I don't think the fans always get to see that. But
You know, someone that I learned some of that from, when a couple years ago, you know, I was always a big fan of the Dukes of Hazzard.
yeah.
And I'm going to Dukes of Hazzard events and meeting the people in the cast.
Sure.
You know, John Snyder played Bo Duke on the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
He always took time to meet every single person after his shows and stuff.
He's a country star in his own right.
Yeah, he is. He is. And I got to know him through coming to the shows, and his late wife Alicia just passed away.
Oh, that's
but she saw me and started remembering me, and she's like, hey, I saw some of your stuff on social media. You perform too? I said, yeah, I perform. I'd love to open a show sometimes. She said, send me your EPK, send me your stuff. And so she invited me to perform at his birthday party a couple of years ago. And then she said, after the show, she said, hey, I went down with my full band to his place in Holden, Louisiana. And she said, hey, but are you free the rest of the year? Do you want to, we have 18 shows. You want to come on tour? And she put me to open for him on tour the whole year.
Oh, that's sweet.
In 2022.
Yeah.
And ended up doing lots of great stuff there. And he always took time for his fans, is what I was getting to. He always takes times to stand and talk to every single person.
Yeah.
He's so personable,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. It's an extra level to the job, I imagine.
Yeah.
But my goodness, and if you can actually feel it, like that's just a plus. That's a win in its own right. So I can see it on some nights being harder than others. You know, the fans are all having their one-time experience, and you're on show 16. You know, and so you know what I'm saying.
Garth Brooks will do that. He stands
Garth
out
he's extraordinary that way. Yeah. So,
John Rich is that way. He's got a place in downtown Nashville. He'll just come, show up, pop in, say hi to every single person, take pictures. You know, John's been like a mentor to me the past decade.
Yeah. No, he's. It sounds like you surround yourself with some good folks and people that you're learning lessons from.
Yeah.
It's the right lessons. It'll probably serve you very well in your career going forward. Is this my imagination, or did I see you in a Darius Rucker video?
Yeah,
You're
it
right.
is.
Yeah.
Beers and Sunshine.
Yeah, that's the one. Beers and Sunshine. Well, how did you get yourself into that predicament?
So I have
Very talented.
an acting agent, Morgan Graham Entertainment, Nashville, Tennessee.
Sure.
Big shout out. Thanks, Morgan. And she said, hey, they need someone that has like salt and pepper in their beard, right?
Yeah.
I'll send your picture in. And sent a little audition video, right? And the director, the casting producer, saw me and said, hey, I need someone that looks like me, because he wanted to be Darius's best friend in this music video, but he couldn't because he's a director. So he selected me. Thanks, Bronston. Got to know Bronston Jones since then.
Yeah.
We're having dinner tomorrow night.
Very cool. Very cool.
It's downtown Hollywood. But so he said, yeah, I like your look. So he cast me in the video, man. And my name is not attached to the song or the video, but I've done so much traveling around and met so many people throughout my career. When people saw that video, they were like, oh my gosh, it's Clayton Q. It did a lot for me. Just being in the video, you know. It was great, and I met a lot of great people and network. And again, you know, like, become friends with the director. I'm hanging with him tomorrow night. You know, it was just a huge network. It's just a big family circle of friends. You get to know people and cultivate relationships throughout your career.
That's right. No,
that's really what it's about.
So much of this industry is based on exactly that, and it's often who you know, and it's good to know lots of folks. We were lucky to be surrounded by a lot of creative, amazing, talented people, and super good. Speaking of that, the guy who's sometimes controversial, and I've hung out with with the man more in his formative days, back when Little Joe C was with him and so on. We're talking about the great Kid Rock. This is Michigan's badass. And, you know, he's got a distinctive way, but nobody can deny that Kid Rock brings the big rock show. Kid Rock can turn a place on its ass. As front men go, Kid Rock knows how to do that job. It's a job, and it's about interacting with the audience and pulling them in and taking them and pushing and you know what I mean? And Kid Rock brings it. What's it like to go out? I know that you've played with Kid Rock or done some work with him. Tell me what's it like going up with Kid Rock.
So how I speak to that story. So it's like 2017. He used to have the Kid Rock Fish Fry there in Nashville, Tennessee, and he had just being around Nashville, you know, for so long. You run into people out and around downtown Nashville, and over the course of time, some years back, I met Bobby, and at certain times he likes to have lots of people around. He'll say, hey, party's in my house, everybody come over, and one person follows the other, and you go to his crib or whatever. And at that particular night, I was backstage in the VIP. This was like 2017, you know, and it wouldn't be like if you said, hey, Bobby, you know Clayton Q? He'd be like, no, I don't know who that is, right? But if you said, hey, you know this guy? I'd be like, oh, yeah, that guy. I have the familiar face, right? At that time, I had more of like just like the guy that was a familiar face. And he had bought this theme park called Cowboy Town, 85 acres, and turned it into like his personal party property, right? Had a cool log cabin over there. He turned into his little party barn and stuff, and everyone knew that that's where the after party was at. It was at Cowboy Town. It's like one of those places, if you know, you know, right? So everybody goes over there. He's got a stage set up probably about the size of from here back to these speakers. He's got a band on stage. I know a couple of the guys that are in the band, right? he knows me again, a familiar face around. He's on stage, just like, hey, does anybody want to come up here and sing a song? Have at it. I just hopped right on stage. I said, Sweet Home Alabama in the key of D, right?
Yeah.
He hops on, he starts playing piano.
What a treat.
And so here I am, the band, I know the guitar player, recorded my first song at a studio. Mark Dreyer, big shout out, Mark Dreyer, Nashville. Yeah. Kurt Olson on drums, a good friend of Kurt.
It sounds like a little hot rod band.
And they were great. Kurt's a great drummer. And they've gone out on the Kid Rock cruise, Punta Cana several times with Mark. And so they were like, yeah, Clayton, get up here. And so it was really cool because then I'm like, okay, I'm at Kid Rock's house. I'm on stage. I'm singing Sweet Home Alabama. He's playing keys, right? Well, Kid Rock's like, hey, I'm like the white Detroit rapper, right?
Yeah.
So I do this thing on Sweet Home Alabama where I start freestyling, rapping a little bit on the bridge, right? I'm doing that. He stops playing keys. He gets up and puts his arm around me, and I stop. He takes the microphone. He said, I thought I was the only white rapper in Nashville. It was super cool, What a great feeling.
Yeah.
And so I haven't been on the big stage with Kid Rock, but I was there at his house, his personal residence, on stage with his arm around me, and we're singing Sweet Home Alabama. And, I mean, what a great feeling. At that point, I feel like, man, I've made it. I've been on stage with Kid Rock. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And then a lot of other people still come up to me that were there. They see me around. They're like, oh, man, I ain't seen you since Kid Rock's house. It's a great feeling. As an independent artist, it's a great feeling to have a story to tell like that, to go back for years to come, and for other people to recognize you for that.
Yeah. No, it's a great story, and it sounds like it was a lot of fun. Yeah, Kid Rock is a very talented multi-instrumental player, writer, and the arc of his career, if you politics aside and some of the shenanigans aside, if you look at the music, what an eclectic dude. I mean, like, seriously, it's almost like a Beck quality to it. There's he can really do the hard rock rap thing. He can do the country thing. He can do the poppy, more kind of central sound thing. It's and he's a man who believes in his convictions.
Yeah.
If you're down with what he's doing or not, that's debatable. That's whatever. But Kid Rock stands where he stands, and he's like holds that ground hard.
He's a man of the community. A couple of years ago, I heard he went to a local Walmart and said, hey, pay off everyone's layaways.
Yeah, so he does weird shit like that. Like, Kid Rock actually comes from a pretty well-to-do family from Michigan. He's not what you think he is, but he's become what he is, and he really is that. Yeah. He's embraced a life that he actually didn't grow up in. He grew up in a totally different place. Yeah, it's a weird story. But I knew him, like you said, Bobby. It's funny to hear you say that because we used to, never mind. But yeah, I came up with him when he was first, like when he was little Joe C and his little sidekick, remember, and all that, and that bada bada boom, da bang, da dang, diggy diggy shit. Yeah. And we were like, we would trip on Kid Rock, like he was a handful. And so yeah, right on. I'm glad you have a good story like that. It's fun to have those in your pocket. Doing the Big Love Benefit. Now, you did that Big Love Benefit, if I remember it correctly. And I believe AJ and Steve were both involved in that. And many people, Greg Price, all kinds of badasses from the industry, awesome. like dudes that could never have all been in one room together without something like a COVID or whatever was going on. And that was a benefit for like stagehands and people like me and the people that are filming this show right now, and my good friend Kyle Thomas over here. That was very kind. How did you? So it was the Big Love Rock benefit. It involved, I believe, Sweet Relief, Project Resiliency, and another one. Raven Drum Foundation. Yeah, it was really, really great. And you came and kicked its ass. Tell us about how you got involved in that.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. Actually, someone that I've known for over a decade that I met in Nashville some years ago. It's my great friend Ross Rylance. Yeah. And he was doing everything that he could to help me and get involved out here with what you guys were doing. He was my California connection, and he made a call to George and said, hey, you need to talk to Rick. I think Clayton Q needs to be up on this. He's up and coming country music artist. You got Winona Judd. I think you should have Clayton Q. And so, yeah, Ross was the reason that I'm sitting here today.
Well, I forgot that connection, and so, okay.
It's okay. It's good. Yeah. I speak very highly of him.
Yeah, he's a dear friend. Just had dinner with him last night. We did, actually.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
And a lovely man. That turned out to be a really well received, wonderful event. We had all kinds of
one
folks.
thing
Some of the
leads to
guys from
another
Guns N'
thing, leads to
Roses,
another thing, and here we are. Now we have lifelong connections and friendships.
It's really kind of cool. Yeah, I've always thought that was the fascinating part of this business. Is, if you do it right and you're careful with how you light fires on bridges, or maybe don't, you can have some really good lifetime relationships.
Absolutely.
I noticed on your 2022 tour, and I love this. This is a newer thing for me. I grew up in the punk rock scene and then went into the hard rock scene. We could call it metal, and the introduction of sponsorships to tours. It makes so much sense. These things are so expensive. They're so top heavy, and you're driving this essentially a giant billboard around the country. Why not sponsor up? You got sponsored by the great Furman Company. Now, this is no small thing. This is an extraordinary.
It's a huge thing for an independent artist to get a major corporate sponsorship.
Yeah, really cool.
It's such a feat. I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, hopefully my crew is dropping in pictures of your bus right now, which has got your big smiling face on it and some Furman product and Furman.
Absolutely, that would be great.
We got a bunch of inserts we'll put in on this.
Oh, cool.
That kind of time up with the conversation. But yeah, what a great deal. And was that a good partnership?
Absolutely. Actually been on tour with John Snyder. They were a sponsor of John Snyder for the Bose Extravaganza Bose on the Road tour. And I didn't have necessarily a merchandise booth, but they always had a 10 by 20 set up at every show on the road on tour. So I would always announce to everyone, hey, meet me over at the Furman Power Equipment tent. I'll have my merchandise for sale, and I highly recommend you take a generator home with you today. Mention promo code Clayton Q for 30% off. And I didn't have a promo code, nor that I had the authority to give them 30% off. But they appreciated my effort, and they were like, awesome. We'll give them 30% off.
Yeah.
And then eventually, so many people would come over to see me at the merch tent and buy generators that the vice president and the president were talking one day. And on the first show of in 2022, in the first show at John Snyder's house, the vice president, Jason Sutton, he come up to me, he said, hey, Clayton, you've been selling generators out and promoting our product, and we appreciate it. Why don't you send us send us a proposal? Let's talk about a sponsorship deal. And it was like they approached me about it. We talked about it, and we come up to a solution for that, an agreement, and they wrapped my bus and my enclosed trailer, and I've got a pre-fo I got from T.G. Shepard. Saved up.
Singer,
T.G. Shepard. I got his old tour bus, and it was a used one, but I saved it up. Years of pennies and eating ramen noodles.
Oh yeah, no, it's beautiful though.
And bought that. So
what a hell of an investment.
And it's a great investment for my career and my team to be able to travel in, my production team, and get us coast to coast. But Furman, we've got their billboard on the side, and I said, hey, I've got to have my face bigger than your generator.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of a good. That's a reasonable.
That's a great
request.
thing. It showcases their products, and what a great partnership. I have a promo code. It's Clayton Q30, and you'll save 30% on a generator off the retail price. If you get a $1,500 generator, you can get it for $1,000, free shipping to you anywhere in the intercontinental United States.
I've actually been kind of wanting a generator. I have one already, but I need a bigger one. Yeah.
Well, dude, I gave you a coupon code. We'll get you hooked up.
You did good. He's slinging them right here, right now. Shameless.
Yeah, dude,
but
I'm telling you.
I need a generator, so
hey, they pay me good to say that.
Deal. Steve would agree
but I believe in the product. So, that helps.
Yeah, no, and that's, so I have to imagine critically important. You're a man of integrity, you're a man of a certain belief system, and that, I may in fact seriously look into this. So it's the Furman operation, Clayton Q, 30%. Yeah, and that's a great discount, by the way. You're just pulling that out of your hat. That's one that would get people like thinking,
They literally said, okay, you said it on stage. We're gonna give you a promo code for 30% off. And they've got some products that would benefit your show. They got what's called a 0E. It's pretty much like a Tesla battery with a 30-amp plug-in.
Yeah.
Charge it for 90 minutes. It'll last for 8 hours. You can power this whole set with the one generator. Makes no noise.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, they have that's. You think we do the whole set with it, lights and all?
Yeah, absolutely. For 8 hours, dude, it'll run.
Man, that's nuts.
It's warranty for 10,000 cycles.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, right? I was wondering if you were over there. Hi.
I'm listening. You got some good stories.
I've got one. I like it. Got one on the bus. It's great for all the accessories.
Yeah, right on. It sounds like a great partnership, and
So thanks for mentioning that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it came out came about organically, and you've made the best of it, and you're killing it as usual because that's what you do. Yeah,
Man. What do you think I'm going to do for Beyond the Backstage Pass? Think about that.
I don't know.
I'm going to promote the heck out of it.
Well, you're good that way. Yeah, but yeah, you're savvy with your social media too. You know, you understand the game, and I
have
got
to speak to your business. You
yes,
know
sir.
Your business.
Yeah, and that there's never been more of opportunities to do that. More different platforms and ways to put your name out there. I'm a little lazy when it comes to my thing, but I love that you might bring some, your crowd to it. So yeah,
Thank you, man.
Really great.
Thank you very much.
As it relates to that, I think we buried the lead a little bit. You have some beautiful songs. One of my particular favorites is "Welcome to Nashville." In the lyrics, it kind of speaks to so much. And I know you got your guitar with you, and you got your. Dude, I'm digging the boots, by the way. I don't know if I said anything about the boots, but the
Thanks,
boots
man. I appreciate that.
Those are great boots, man. Very, very cool.
Thanks a lot.
Maybe you could tell us where the song came from and what the thinking is behind it, and if you wouldn't mind giving us a few
Absolutely,
few
I'd be
beats
honored to.
we'd be honored.
So this song is about the first 15 years of my life as a songwriter in Nashville. And when you come to Nashville, there are things that you don't know as a songwriter or an artist or just someone trying to make it in the biz. And you just learn by cutting your teeth. You just learn by doing it. And this song is kind of like saying, hey, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Welcome to Nashville. And you don't know unless you've been there and you've done it. Just like working in the audio industry, live audio. You don't know. You got to know just by being there. It's not something I can tell you.
Yeah, you can give an outline, but it's really hard to explain it. You got to be in the trenches. This song does that for Nashville.
I'd be honored. I'd be honored to play
Thanks,
a song.
buddy.
Let's see here.
The great Clayton Q with the song "Welcome to Nashville."
Let me scoot up here, story time style.
All right, buddy.
Smoky old ballroom down in Tennessee, singing these songwriter circles. Things ain't what they seem. You see, I rolled into Nashville in my old pickup truck. 15 years later, I'm broke and I'm down on my luck. Welcome to Nashville, where dreams will come true. If the right person walks in, you'll make $1 million or $2. In the neons on don't like giving in. Thank you for coming, drinking and loving. Y'all come back again. They said no on Broadway to this guitar playing fool. The label said no way, son, your country ain't cool. So I made a few rejects and I started a band. Now I'm playing these podunk BFE bars with the tip coffee can. Welcome to Nashville, come sing us your song. It's 10 years for record deals, but for some it's too long. In the neons on Broadway, don't like giving in. Thank you for coming, come back again. I've lost family, friends, and lovers on this music dream run. I've had a few paychecks, had a few long necks, and had a little fun. I've been beaten up on Broadway, true story. I've been broke on Music Row, also true. I packed everything up a few times, but only made it to the road. Welcome to Nashville, a songwriter's dream, a dead end for many, an outlaw's new thing. But the neons on Broadway don't like giving in. Thank you for coming. The bartender's happy. Y'all come back again. Yeah, thank you for giving up decades of your life. Y'all come back again. We'll see you at the same time tomorrow, fellas. About closing time. Thank y'all.
Absolutely beautiful.
And I also wanted to say that I came here today with a guitar for the intentions of gifting it to you, my friend.
My goodness. Now, what are you doing? What?
Sweetheart.
Oh, that's so beautiful. This is very sweet. This is something you absolutely don't have to do. Oh, boy.
Well, I can't fly back with it, so. But I did.
Goodness.
I bought it so I could get here and give it to you
You're
today,
sweet.
my friend.
Thank you, my brother.
My bro.
I love you, man.
Love you.
That's very kind. Very kind. I'm gonna have to put some initials on it.
Oh, well, sign it.
I'll probably be able to get more on the eBays now.
Yeah, you will.
I love this thing and I'll keep it forever. As
Thank
you know,
you.
I have a guitar collection that I absolutely adore, and you are the man. Thank you. That was fucking beautiful. Oh, sorry. That was really sweet. It's like you write from a very reflective space.
Thank
you. You know, stuff that you've lived, and my friend, you got a great voice.
Thank you, man.
All
I
right?
appreciate that.
I wouldn't just say that, right?
Beautiful.
That was really beautiful.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
And
very much.
your song construction. You know, I'm kind of an old school analytical break things down guy.
Yeah.
And really nice. There's I'm feeling some influences in there that. Yeah.
Well, see, the big George Jones influence,
Yeah.
holding out that
He's-
long note. What was
amazing,
great that's at the Opry, I met Nancy Jones,
No kidding.
George Jones' wife.
Yeah.
We became friends. I said, hey, it's great meeting you guys later on that night. I sent her a text. I said, hey, I want you to enjoy this song. I wrote it, and I've got some influence from George in it. 10 minutes later, she texts me back, oh, my God, if George was alive, he would want to cut that song. Such a huge compliment.
That is huge. Yeah.
And, to write it with that influence and then be able to meet his wife and for her to tell me that.
Yeah. That's
It's like one of those things where you're like, okay, my life is complete. You've had those moments in your life. Okay,
I've been
my
lucky a
life
couple
is
of
complete.
those, yeah, and they're, so satisfying and so huge.
Yeah.
That's a very sweet thing. Now, you have some great songs. It's a
Appreciate
crime that the system doesn't work better, that the more of the world doesn't know about it. But I have this funny feeling that they're gonna, and you put in the work and you keep doing what you do, and the talent will shine through.
I feel like I'm just blessed that whoever has heard it, I'm so blessed for that.
Yeah, and it's the steps, They put them together to positive steps to end up in great outcomes. I know that you're mindful. You mentioned a minute ago before the song that you wish sometimes when you've taken awards, for example, that the way the system is set up, there's the front guy. But there's so much other people in your life that help you be when you're really bringing it and you're the whole band and it's the whole thing.
That's right.
That's an ensemble. What's and then of course the crew, guys like us, that are trying to bring our part of it so that you make you sound good and that all your stuff is there so you can just do the talent part. All you got to worry about is the performance. We've dealt with everything else and we've done it right. What's your crew mean to you?
Dude, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't play anywhere across America, any of our shows, if it wasn't for every single person in my crew that contributes any part, small or big.
Yeah.
the small part is the biggest.
We're only as good as the
small
crew.
things are the biggest ones. I've got Dan Reed. I want to give a shout out. Dan Reed, my drummer.
Yeah.
I've known him for over a decade. Randy Russell, my lead guitarist. Rhett Butler, right-hand man on stage, co-front man. All my backup vocals, my background vocals. He plays utility, banjo, guitar, piano. He's great.
Who's that guy?
Great musician, great artist. It's great. His name's Rhett Butler, like Gone with the Wind, right? He's bound for destiny. My bass player, Tom Flora. You know, got a great fiddle player, violinist, Myrna Lewis, that plays with us a lot from Nashville, known as the Barefoot Fiddler on Broadway. She's kind of famous, right?
Right.
I've got John Leahy. He's what some people call a roadie. I like to call him my production supervisor.
Okay.
And he does, he sets our gear up. I turn around, I don't have to set it up, it's there.
Yeah.
After I'm done with the show, he breaks it down and wipes it down, cleans my guitar, does it for everyone, breaks down the drum set.
One
we
guy.
have John Wills and
one dude.
Yeah, John Leahy. Yeah, we have two sometimes, but he also runs our spotlight sometimes, man. He runs up like, where's John? Oh, he's up there running the spotlight.
Okay, so the model you just, AJ can speak to this. The model, the version of a grip that you just spoke to, and we do call them roadies, I do.
Yeah.
It's okay to call us that. At least most of us, maybe not Greg
Well,
Price.
we started, I was like,
Don't
man,
call Greg Price a
after
roadie,
like it was like he proved himself to us. Like when we first started, I was like, dude, you're no longer a roadie. You're a production manager.
Well, that's what it is, because that guy knows all the jobs.
He does all
And
the jobs.
isn't afraid to do any one of them that needs to be done at that moment.
He won't let me pick up my guitar. He'll be like, nope, I haven't taped down the chords yet. Oh, no, I'll get your guitar. It's tuned. It's ready to go. Now you're ready for it, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, it's an art when you get it right and you care enough to get it right. I come from the band side mostly. I'm on this side now, but I started out in the band side and, you know, guitar tech and stage manager and a monitor guy. And I always saw it from that perspective. Like, they do this. That's what they do. I'm going to do that. And together we make memories happen.
Dude, my bus driver, Carl Stout, and my bus mechanic, Cliff McLean, I couldn't do it without them either. Yeah. Everyone's pitching in. Everyone's part of the circle.
Yeah. I got to ask you about Save Myself. It's a great music video. If you haven't seen Save Myself, you guys, YouTube, go Save Myself. Clayton Q, it's freaking great. What's it like? You seem like you're natural behind the camera. Like, it doesn't phase you. You know what I mean? Like,
man, thank you.
I get stiff as a board, so I just ignore the damn things. Like, it's not even happening, you know? Yeah. But you, man, I watch your thing, and so much of your music has an emotional undertone. There's a feeling going on, you know? You're creating an atmosphere. Talk to me about your time making the great videos, Save Myself.
Well, I wrote that song at a different time in my life, around 2009. And I was thinking at the time about a family member that was losing things in their life due to alcoholism. Sure. And I was also maybe some personal things, you know. And I was thankful that I'm a Christian. I have God in my life. And so I'm thankful for that very much. And part of that song is, you know, where I'm basically I'm speaking to the Lord. And I really wrote that song around that time in my life, 2009. And I had sang it for or played it to a songwriter critique person at a company that I won't say the name for that critiques songs. Mm-hmm. And the guy said, you know, I don't really get that song. Nobody else is going to get it. You need to keep working on it, right? And I just it discouraged me. I put it away, and I never did listen to it. I had a demo I did on my computer. I never did listen to it again until COVID. We were all stuck at home and reviewing songs. And at this point, it's further in my career, of course. I'm more confident in what I'm doing. Yeah. And I'm looking at my songs that I've written. I was like, man, this is such a great song. Why did I never do anything with this song? It's so powerful. I'm like, I remember why. Yeah. Right now, someone's got to connect with this song. I'm not listening to anybody saying you shouldn't do that anymore. Yeah. I'm just going to do it. So I connected with my producer that I work with, Rodney Engel, Funhouse Music in Nashville, Tennessee, Ernie Rao on that studio and it was played bass for George Jones years ago. Very cool. So I reached out to Rodney and said, hey, you know, we're all kind of stuck at home. I reached out to musicians. And I said, hey, let's, in my band, I said, I'm going to try to put together this this ensemble for this song. And everyone did their parts remotely. Wow. And I had... turned out really great. It turned out really great. And so then I reached out to a couple other friends of mine that shoot music videos. I was like, are you guys afraid to go out in COVID? And they said, heck no. I said, me either. Let's go. I went to my hometown in Dawson Springs, Kentucky, and filmed around the area. And a friend of mine owned a place up there. And there's people that contributed. Well, I tell you what, some kind of eerie is the hearse that I'm riding in.
Yeah.
We filmed a music video, and there was a funeral going on the other side of the graveyard, right? Cemetery. It's like probably a quarter mile away, way across. You could see it. And we were shooting a music video, and I said, hey, man, I was like, when we do it? He said, when are we going to be done? I said, I got to do a couple more takes. He's like, well, I got to go back over there. And I said, what do you mean go back over there? He said, well, I brought the casket to the gravesite.
Yeah.
He said, I got to go back and park it before. He was doing my music video, and I didn't know it. He's like, yeah, that'll work out perfect. We could use this cemetery. And I was like, awesome.
Double dipping. It's pretty perfect.
I was like in the back of the hearse. The body was there 15 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
Yes, this was funny stories from the music video, from this, for what happened. But the song released during COVID, and it was organically the lowest budget production and music video of anything that I've done.
It's a good looking video.
It's great quality.
Yeah, looks good.
The guys at Re-Up in Pacific, Big Motion Entertainment out of Atlanta, helped me produce this video. Big shout out to them. And, and organically, so many people connected with the song, the message, and it could be like, you could take it however you wanted. Some people, maybe they have a substance abuse. Maybe some people lost a loved one. Maybe someone wasn't a Christian. Maybe someone was, they had something else going in their life, and they connected with it in so many different ways.
Sure.
And that's really the purpose. Like a picture speaks 1,000 words, bro. A song speaks 1,000 words.
Oh my God.
1,000 feelings.
So true. So true. Yeah, no, and you're good for hitting, and you hit nerves, and there's a thing that, it's very specific, and that's the beauty of music. The way I hear it and whatever. And it could be situational. I could hear that song again in a different time in my life with different, circumstances and feel it in a different way and understand it in a different way. Yeah. And the best songs do that. And you accomplished that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a special thing.
Thank you.
And being a little bit of a historian of music in a way, that's kind of a pastime for me, and I've been around it for a minute.
There's a lot.
And again, dude, you got a great voice, and that really helps too. So you're killing it.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Imagine big things for you. Friendship with the great John Rich. Now, this is Big and Rich, of course. He's kind of a legend in his own right. I mean,
he is.
Big and Rich are Big and Rich, and when they were killing it, they were like mowing it down. Like they were bringing it so big. And so talk to me about John Rich. How's that working out?
Years ago, it was like 2005, 2006. I was 19, 20. I wasn't old enough to get into a bar. I don't drink.
Me either.
Fun fact about me, I'm not a drinker. I never have. I'm 37. I've never tasted alcohol.
What? Ever?
Yeah, ever.
Oh, I don't drink because I have tasted alcohol.
And so, but back in that day and time, I couldn't get into the bars because I wasn't 21. Security wouldn't let me in. And Gretchen Wilson, she was coming up. She, John Rich produced, Redneck Woman, and her, they were
great singer.
Yeah, great. And they were doing these parties called Music Mafia parties, right? Down at this place called 12th and Porter in Nashville. And eventually I learned that when they were unloading equipment, get down there early enough, I could just kind of pick stuff up and carry it in. I said, hey, Gretchen, can I help you carry stuff in this week? Oh, yeah, come on. Yeah. And I'm carrying stuff in, and once I got in, I was there, right?
Yeah.
So I got to know, the security got to know me, wasn't going to he's not 21, he's not going to drink, he's not going to cause a scene.
Right.
It's cool, we can trust this guy.
I was doing this at 15. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I worked my way in the trust circle, right? Met, John from being a familiar face, like we talked about earlier, at the parties and knowing people and talking to him and saying I'm a songwriter and I'm up and coming, right? So get my foot in the door. Then later on, fast forward 5 or 6 years, he came to a songwriter round that I had and asked me to play a Roger Miller. He wanted me to play trailers for sale or rent, and I didn't know what. He said, well, let me see. I'll do it, right? He did the Barry's playing with me and stuff. Yeah. And so.
Great song, by the way.
I got introduced to another gentleman named 2 Foot Fred, and he's literally 3'2", and he was the guy. He's kind of like a sideshow fun guy that was with the Big and Rich, whole entertainment circle.
Yeah.
And met him through, I worked as in college as an intern for Dollar General Corporation in the NASCAR team.
Oh, sure.
So I was, we talked about graphic design. I was a marketing intern in the marketing department. Then get my feet wet in entertainment, working and racing, seeing what I could dabble in.
Yeah.
And I met Fred. He was out with Tony Stewart.
The driver.
So he got my email, and he saw me doing something that John was talking about, and he emailed me. He said, "Hey, John," I connected dots. John's got a private club downtown called The Spot. And are you looking for a job? I said, "Yeah, man, I am." So I went to work for John as a driver, driving the other celebrities around and people members of The Spot and stuff. So I've cultivated that relationship and been friends with John for a long time. And he's always had great things, positive things to say to me, and you know, and
he's a pro.
Improvise, you know, and so fast forward to, you know, a couple of years later, he's going to open out 2018, 2019. He's going to open a bar downtown Nashville. Reached out to him and said, "Hey, you know, you're opening your bar in downtown Nashville, Redneck Riviera. You know, I'd love to get a spot in there and perform." He said, "Yeah, absolutely. I'm hooking my friends up." We were the first band to perform at his nightclub in Nashville. So a year later, of course, he booked me to perform at the 1-year anniversary party during CMA Fanfare, and it was Lone Star, the first band that he was in.
Oh, shit.
They played, and then he played with Big Kenny, and then he introduced me, and we came on stage and we headlined.
No kidding.
So after I said, you know, "John, I want to do some work together. Will you be in one of my music videos?" It'd absolutely be an honor.
Yeah.
So we produced a song, "Blue Collar America." That's right. And he's in the video, and that's done so much for me. And so even now, this year, our first show this year is direct opener for Big and Rich in Port Charlotte, Florida.
Oh, good for
Southern
you,
Grand Slam. Yeah, it's coming up April 1st.
Yeah, April 1st. And tell us again.
Yeah, the Southern Grand Slam, April 1st, Saturday, April 1st in Port Charlotte, Florida.
Oh, man.
And Clayton Q and Big and Rich.
If you are in the neighborhood, you got to stop in and see that. That's going to be a great show. And about your live performance, I know you to be a very energetic. You bring a light. You know, you're not one of those guys that dead fish behind the microphone. You know, just strumming in place. You know, kind of using the stand as a
We make sure people get a workout. They're doing this.
You got to get in. Yeah, I know. There's always
me and my buddy Rhett Butler, I was talking about earlier. We got out on the catwalk, man. We put on the show.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, so you're saying he's kind of a co-guy in your
Absolutely, absolutely. He's got a great voice on his own, and with my voice and him singing the harmonies, it makes it sound like that full volume, that full sound, you know.
Yeah.
And you can hear the background vocals on a lot of our new music that's going to come out this year.
Oh, when is that happening? Talk to us about that.
Dude, within the next 6 months, I'll come out with about 8 new songs all at once. Yeah, music videos and songs coming out.
All right, you got to let us know about that so we can in any way support that and let the world know, because I'm super down and I believe in what you're doing. Yeah, you know, and across our different platforms.
Yeah.
Also, Clayton Q merch. Where can the people get the good Clayton Q, the legit
My e-commerce site will be up on ClaytonQ.com.
Okay, ClaytonQ.com, yeah. Go to it.
Yeah, and that's going to be, my e-commerce site should be up within the next 30 days, and there'll be a merch tab on there. You can buy Clayton Q shirts, and I'll have koozies and hats. And,
right on.
You know, I'm also thinking about, you know, this is my favorite kind of hat. I'm thinking about making a Clayton Q hat.
Well, I would say, so like we were talking about Jayhawk earlier, I just got a pair of his shoes, Infirmity shoes. Like he's super big on his branding. I'm lazy in mine. You know, the shipping and handling parts, but, and I just give my shit away. But dude, everybody knows you for that hat. When I think of Clayton Q, I think of the hat. Yeah, I could imagine that working really good. Yeah, I bet you'd sell a lot of those suckers.
Yeah, you know,
it's a good look. It's a good hat.
Hat Works on 8th Avenue South in Nashville make some of my hats, including this one. But for sure, I might talk to them about making Clayton Q style hats.
It's a thing, dude. It's apparently, you know, as merch goes. I mean, I got little friggin' cozies and I got a bunch of weird stuff.
So, you know, my pants here with the flames, and I had a jacket. This is actually a new shirt that Manuel Couture made me in Nashville, Manuel Cuevas, and he hand stitched all the flames and the flavor that with my rings and all that.
Yeah.
But so I'm kind of known for having this fire outfit, this other jacket and pants that I have.
Yeah.
And being from Nashville, Nashville's a hot subject, right?
Yeah.
So I started putting Nashville hot on my shirts with my logo, and people love those things.
Wildfire.
So now Nashville Hot is trademarked under Clayton Q trademark, and
Very
I've got
cool.
my merchandise. You can now get a Nashville Hot shirt. You can be Nashville Hot.
That's pretty, I would love to invest in a Nashville Hot shirt.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you one.
That's very sweet. You already killed it with the guitar. I mean, we are square. Just I'm gonna do that way.
Well, thanks for having me on your show, man. This
It
is
was
awesome.
an absolute pleasure. We should wrap. You're not wrong. What a treat. Thank you for, I know you're kind of making the rounds right now and doing a bunch of stuff, and that you found time to come and hang out with us knuckleheads, do our little thing right here is a big deal to us, and we really appreciate it. And so, what a treat. I wish you continued success and
thank you
ongoing
so much.
greatness. And
Thank you.
there's, if there's anything that Sound Image can do with the crew here at Beyond the Backstage Pass to further your career and the things that I have imagined for your future, please let us know.
Thank you, Benny.
It is an absolute treat.
Thank you, Kyle.
Definitely, sir.
Thanks, buddy.
It's awesome hearing your stories. We didn't catch this last time we talked, so it was good.
I know, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's the fun of this thing right here. And this is stuff is forever. So anytime we want to go.
Did I hear this right earlier? This is Prince's chair.
Prince's chair. You're sitting in Prince's back in Prince's dressing room's chair. So Prince was big on purple, as we know.
Yeah.
Prince was big on having it his way. And these are two chairs that was gifted to us from the great Tom Thompson, one of Prince's principal lighting guys back in the day. And we love them. They're great. We've had many iterations, from the office chairs to this silly thing I'm sitting in. This has been the best by far.
You got a guitar, I get the chair. Thanks.
Yeah. I knew.
See,
I knew there was a shoe that was yet to
motives.
drop. I just knew it. It's very rock and roll. I understand. We'll cut you a piece out and put it in your wallet.
Deal.
All right. Thanks for coming in, babe.
Thanks, brother.
My pleasure. Listen, I love you. I know you got things coming up. We're going to figure it out, but I'll probably push Bernie Broderick in there once in a while.
Oh, I love it.
Because he's only even close to could take your place. But nobody will ever take your place. You will be missed if you got to go away. But let's try to coordinate this thing because I've got some sick, crazy guests lined up. Like Grammy Award-winning, insane, wonderful people. Really great one. So let's see what we can do about going forward. We're going to try to do this again. We do it historically every Thursday. We're going to work on the scheduling on that and see how we go forward. We'll let you know when we know. Until then, thank you for coming and tuning in. These guys could have went 1,000 places to spend their time, and they hung out with us, so that's pretty cool. We're going to try to do it again. Thank you to the great Clayton Q, and what a delight getting to hear his music and have him on the show. Kyle, we wish you continued success and that you be safe out there. I want to thank my whole crew, the great Mike Brown, the Octopus,
Oh, dude,
Zachary Watkins.
hold on. Before we leave, I got a fucking very nice gift for Mike. That I was tired of seeing your face on everything.
Yeah.
I think I gave him a picture of it,
you
so
keep prefacing it with
we can
that
flash
part.
it
What
over
the
real
fuck?
quick. But Mike had a fucking awesome shirt. Just wanted to post that. Love you
Okay.
very much, buddy.
Mike, you gotta do. Oh, look, they just did a picture.
Yeah,
There's a
sent
picture.
him one. I
Okay, so
fucking had
that's
to sneak it
and
in.
what's on the shirt?
It's Beyond the
people.
Backstage Pass. So a good friend of mine, Al Grime, from Goffstown, New Hampshire, made up this bleach sweatshirt for him. It says Beyond the Backstage Path with some death branches for a logo. Put the octopus on the bottom because he's always doing a million things, and then his face in the back of it. I'll try to get some pictures so you can post about it.
Yeah, no, and we threw that up. That is very sweet of you. It was very thoughtful, and it was because it was Mikey's birthday, and because we couldn't do this without him or Zach. So thank you guys, and a great shout out to our LD. The guy holding the flashlight is Alan Pettibone. We're going to try to do it again every week on Thursdays, historically around 7 p.m. We got some exciting guests in the future. You guys, thanks for tuning in. Now go on and behave, be good, be kind, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you. Good night.